The problem with a will is that all your properties are still in my name, but I'm gone. It's as if I left a shoebox of cash on the street. It's got my name on it, but I've disappeared. I may have left instructions next to the shoebox. That's a good start. Let's see what happens next. That is similar to essentially what happens in probate. So the first thing the cops are going to do is to freeze the box of cash to protect me so nobody just willy-nilly helps themselves to the cash, right? So that's the first step, freeze the assets. Secondly, they're going to see the instructions and they're going to get excited. They say, oh, great, but let's first make sure that these are indeed her instructions. So they're going to scan the instructions and see your signature. Great, fantastic, she signed it. Then they're going to look for witnesses and see that you signed it in the presence of 2 witnesses. Fantastic, because that's what our state requires. And now the third step is to publicize these instructions to the community. Hey, look what we found, and these are the instructions we got for it. One person might come up and say, you know what? I was with her last night. We were out drinking, and she was actually half drunk when I saw her write those instructions. So she was under the influence. No good, no good. Or another person might come up and say, her partner was really haranguing her about, writing some instructions. So I'm not sure if that's really of her own free will. No good, no good. These are the things that they're trying to look out for to make sure that the instructions you left behind are indeed your free will. Let's say no such drama, okay? So then the judge says, oh, these instructions are legit. Let's find somebody to execute on the instructions. Hopefully you've specified who that person is. In the probate process, that's called your executor. If you have not assigned an executor, then the court will assign one for you. It could be a family member or it could be a third party. So then the next step is for the executor to follow the instructions and distribute the cash. The judge will ask for the executor to show proof of distribution, proof of payments. This is to protect your heirs. You're no longer around to look out for your heirs, but through the probate process, the judge can make sure that your heirs did indeed get the property, the assets, the cash that you meant for them to get. So probate gets a bad rap, but actually it's a necessary evil that the government has set up to protect our assets, to protect our intentions, make sure that they are our own free will and not created out of duress or under the influence, and also to protect our heirs, to make sure that they get what we intend for them to get. Unfortunately, probate is not free. It's actually quite expensive because you're involving clerks in the courts, court attorneys, the judge's time, and your family may hire their own probate attorney. So it can range from 3 to 5% of your total assets, thousands of dollars. Not only that, it takes quite a bit of time because the court is not, just sitting idle waiting for your case to come up. They're dealing with hundreds, thousands of probate cases. Clearly, the solution is to have your property not be in your name when you pass on, right? There's several options. One is I could give it to charity, but I can't just transfer all my property to charity. Okay, next choice, I could spend it all. I like this idea. First class tickets, 5-star hotels, a new car every year. I really like this idea, but I'm Chinese. I can't spend, too much money before getting hives. So I probably won't be able to spend it all. The third choice is to gift my properties to my kids. This sounds like a good idea, although I wonder if they'll be the one to spend it all. But even if you have frugal kids, there are actually several tax-related reasons why this is not a good idea. I will put a link below to another video that talks about the tax implications of gifting major properties to your kids before you die. Okay, so I can't take my name off my property by giving it to charity or by spending it all or by giving it to my kids. Well, what other options are there? Thankfully, there is another option. It's called the Revocable Living Trust. Think of a trust as a treasure chest. It even has a name. Mine is called the Martha Chang Revocable Living Trust. The law sees it as its own entity. So I take my house and I retitle the deed to the trust. I take my business interest. I have shares in a company. I retitle it to the trust. I take rental property I have and retitle it to the trust, as well as some Fidelity and Vanguard brokerage accounts that I have, some stocks. I will change the title, the ownership of the stocks to the trust. Now, let's see what happens when I pass. So the judge is going to look at my property and he's not going to see any property because I don't own any property anymore. Well, if I don't own any property, he can't freeze. There's nothing to freeze. He can't freeze the property in the trust because that's not mine. So no freezing of assets. Secondly, the judge does not have to validate the instructions that I leave behind for the distribution of my assets because the instructions are part of the trust. It's inside the treasure chest. All the judge cares about is who the key to the treasure chest goes to. Does the judge need verification that the heirs got what they wanted? No, because the judge doesn't even know what assets are in the trust. It's the successor trustee's responsibility to make sure that the instructions left in the trust are followed and that my heirs get what I intend them to get. Now I want to answer 3 very common questions that come up about the revocable living trust. The first question is, if I transfer ownership and title of my property to the trust, do I still have any control of it? The answer is yes. That's why it's called a living trust, because while you're still alive, you have full control of all the assets in the treasure chest. You can rent out your house, even though the title of the house is the Martha Chang Living Trust and no longer just me as a person. You can sell your house. You can sell and buy stocks in the trust. In fact, you're still paying taxes on all the properties inside the treasure chest. It's as if you have full control of them. Question number 2, do I put everything I own into the trust? The answer is no. And that is a bigger discussion. I will put a link at the bottom of this video to direct you to another video that talks about that much more in depth. But the answer is no, you don't put everything you own in the trust. The third question is, how much does it cost to set up this wonderful, magical treasure chest? There are several options. If you have a very straightforward estate, you could try a DIY online platform such as trustandwill.com. They specialize in estate planning. They'll take you through a series of questions, and you can even pay a little extra to have an attorney review your documents at the end. It costs about $400 to $600. There are other much more affordable online platforms that also offer living trusts. I don't encourage you to go that route because 1, they don't specialize in estate planning, and 2, you also want to make sure that their estate plan documents are state specific because every state has different requirements. If you can get it done within the 7-day trial period, it would even cost you nothing. And of course, there's a third option of working one-on-one with an attorney that would cost between $3,000 to $5,000, but it would be money very well spent if you have an estate planning that's complicated. By the way, my name is Martha Chang, and in this channel, I decode estate planning concepts so families can avoid probate. Important note, I am not an attorney. Never take anything I say as legal advice. I just provide helpful information and I point to other resources online that can help you with your education. But if you need legal advice, you need to get a lawyer. You should never trust a random girl on YouTube for legal advice.